G'day everybody, it's Max and welcome back to Satisfactory Update 4, that's right. And we are going to do all the crazy builds. Yes, we are going to be doing the plastic, the rubber, and the things. Because we have got a lot to go on. And of course those are really big builds. I gotta get really big things done, that's for sure. So today's gonna be all about that piping, and then the next episode's gonna be all that belting, and hopefully when we turn it all on, we'll be getting all that rubber and plastic stuffing. Let's get to it. Alright, the nighttime will be soon ending, and with the daytime coming, I think we should jump right in and get on down there, because we got a lot to do and a lot to talk about, and not a whole lot of time, that's for sure. Alright, zip zip in the car, here we go, that's right. I miss the car so much. It's so great to have the car back, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, driving the ice cube or the sugar cube and the truck and all that stuff is all really, it's all fine. I enjoy them. But I must admit, I do enjoy the car the most by far. It's just something about it makes me happy. Just makes me happy. Okay, so we have two big factories, but let's say about 80 machines each, right? I believe it was like 58 and 28, 57 and 28 possibly on each side. That's like 114 and 56. Anyway, there's a lot of machines going on here, and on this side should now be ready to go. Actually, I just have to power it up and plug it in. I know, that's pretty crazy, actually. So this side is going to handle all the rubber side of things, and at the end of it, and of course, it should do just around 1,000 rubber a minute. Yeah, there we go. So of course, the oil is going to come in the back here. It's going to hit these 10 machines, get converted into heavy oil residue. That's going to produce the nice purple fluid and the polymer resin leftover. The polymer resin leftover actually goes into these 5 machines that are below me. They then get converted into rubber, which sounds great, but it's very little rubber. It's not really any useful rubber. So what we do is we take that rubber and we shove it into 9 machines that are over there, which make recycled plastic. Yeah, okay. But that recycled plastic is then enough to then take our heavy oil residue along with fuel and convert that into 1,000 rubber. And that, of course, is the magical things of the magic. There are 2 main sections to this. All the plumbing that has to be done and all the belt work that has to be done. So let's talk about plumbing, because that's the one we're going to be doing today. There are 3 major sections of plumbing. There is the heavy oil residue plumbing, there is the water plumbing, and then there is the fuel plumbing. And of course, that is where we're going with that. So these 10 machines, these are the first 10 machines that you have to deal with. Their job is to produce heavy oil residue in 2 lines of 5, and that is where it's going to be. Now, I am still using all Mark 1 piping for this, because it's a lot easier just overall than trying to do all the splitting and all the things, right? And this heavy oil residue actually comes down here to these 14 machines that are going to take the heavy oil residue and convert it into fuel. Now, to do that, you need the second line of stuff, which is, of course, the water. Now, the water lines themselves there's 4 water lines. You need one of them lines to convert that initial residue, polymer residue, over into that old rubber that you're not going to use. But the other 3 lines are going to be used in these 14 pumps to package water. And that packaged water, along with this heavy oil residue, then gets turned into packaged fuel, which then spits out the other end and gets put into these lines of pipes. And of course, we have 3 lines of pipes. 2 of those lines are going to run to the very end, but this third one is going to run to these 9, plus our fancy rubber coming from the start is now going to produce the required plastic, which then we can then reconvert into rubber and doubling its size. And then of course here is the fuel over here coming into these 18 machines, which of course is pretty good turnaround. At the end of it, we should have a bunch of plastic and rubber, hopefully. You know, we'll be shooting for the moon on that one for sure. But it's already 5 minutes in, and we have a lot to do. So let's get down here and let's get piping. Now, I have done some of the quirky bits of the piping just to save time, because this would take hours. This takes hours to build, right? And we want to try and do this in 2 videos. So I had to take some liberty here to actually get some of the piping done. Now, you need your raw fuel, or you need your raw oil coming in here first, so that's what this pipe is going to be all about. And this is the raw oil coming in to our 10 machines here in the back. And of course, these 10 machines are going to handle all of the stuff and the things. And yeah, I need you to do this so as we can do that. There we go. Number 5, please. There we go. Now we're going to slam these in here. So that's going to be that one and that one. And we're going to fly down here hopefully and get these all in. There we go. So this is pretty straightforward. This is your raw resource line. It's coming in, and you're going to put it into machines, right? You know, nothing too magical or anything like that. We need to fill. I mean, it all starts with that sweet black crude oil. So we need that to happen, and of course we make that happen, and it goes into the machines, and we are good to go. And we're just going to double check these to make sure that they are doing the thing we want. I believe they all are. I believe I've gone through and done these. Yeah, heavy oil residue. This is an alternate recipe, so you need to get this out of a hard drive. Luckily, I had gotten this out of a hard drive fairly early on, unlike them computers. Oh man, let me tell you. Them computers, they were harsh. Now, we need this heavy oil residue coming out of here to go places. And of course, we need the first 5 of this residue to go one pipe, and we need the other 5 of this residue to go into another pipe. So we are going to do that. And again, we want to hook these up and get these running. Okay, so we're going to put that down. And of course, like I said, just to save a little time, wherever the junctions are kind of happening. There's no real fancy junction here. It's just 5 going into one pipe, which is going to go scooting on down that way. And then these 5 are just going to go into another pipe. They don't join together or anything magical like that. They're just, you know, they just run side by side. So as you know, we can go on to the next place and the thing for them. And of course, we're going to do that here shortly. So that's 4, and we will join you on the end, like so. Thank you very much for playing. If you'd all be so kind as to join up with your counterparts up top, I would much appreciate it. Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, that looks good. That one looks good. All right, we all look good here. Awesome sauce. All right, now just to kind of keep on the theme of the heavy oil residue, let's keep running these pipes along because they got to go places, right? We have places to go with these, right? And of course, one of those places we want to go is over here. There we go. And you're back over here. So now we're bringing that heavy oil residue down to these 14 machines, right? Because that is the plan. And we're going to run these pipes down here. Now, obviously, when you have 2 lines of equality and you have 14 machines, that means it's 7 and 7. Now, I don't know why they always did this. They always said there was like a little wee bit left in each pipe, and I suppose that is. But let's talk about this junction here, because it is one of the two junctions that actually make kind of things merge together. So the two pipes, the first 7 machines would get it from the first pipe. Groovy. And then what we have here is the second pipe is going to come in right after machine 7 and hook in with machine 8 and beyond. But we've also hooked in the first pipe using, in this case, we're using a valve because valves now exist. At one time, you'd have to put a pump going in that direction, but we now have a valve going in that direction, and I just have it open flow, but the valve, what it does is it's forcing a one-way direction to go this way. So that's all this is doing. And now in that case, we can finish this pipe off going down this way. Excellent. And of course we'll now switch back to this because we want to get these hooked in. And this will take care of these magical 14 pipes. There we go. And of course this is the first of the 2 ingredients needed to actually have these turn into magical liquid golden fuel. That's right. So we're going to take water and heavy oil residue, and presto magico, it's going to come out the other end looking like sweet, sweet honey sauce. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so let's get these all hooked up down this way. There's one. And there's a second one. And a third one. And the fourth one. Number 5 and number 6 and number 7. And then this is where the second line then comes in for number 8. We're actually using the same join for that second line as we are using for number 8. I always have. I never found it made a big difference. I didn't need to add a separate join for the second line coming in and then put number 8 on it. So just saves you an extra, an extra T-junction here, I guess. Okay, and sure enough, we will now want to check to make sure that this is the alternative diluted packaged fuel, which is going to take magical water and that heavy oil residue and make packaged fuel. Let's now have a look at water. Okay, so we need 4 lines of water, as mentioned, and I'm getting those lines from below us because there's a big ocean below us. Yeah, I know, right? Sure enough. And again, I am not bothering with the whole, 240 split into 300. So these are 300 lines. Yes, I know the pumps will do 120, so that's 360 in total. But I don't, for the amount of power wastage, I don't really care. Right? It's just so much easier to put 3 pumps on one line. Whatever. I'm good with that. So we have 12 pumps here to make 4 lines of water, and of course we're pumping that water up. Of course we should now be ready to go with the water. So the water, the first line of water is actually going to be for these 5 machines right here. Now you are producing 100 polymer a minute out of them 10 machines, right? Because each of them is producing 20 polymer a minute. Now these 5 machines are going to take 20 polymer a minute and turn it into, or 60 polymer a minute, of course, which, math and things, and turn it into 20 plastic a minute, right? Because on this side, we actually are making plastic. So if this was the rubber side, this would be rubber. Again, you do need residual plastic for this. So in this case, that's what's going on there. And I hear some thumping of the water. Look at that. That looks pretty cool. We need some elbow joints. There we go. So there's one for you, and one for you, and one for you, and one for you. Excellent. And then, of course, we're going to join these up. This will be groovy dooby. All right. And number 3 and number 4, and of course number 5 is already just joined on the end. And that now, they will, look at that water just being pumped right up here. Pump, pump, pump away. All right, so that now leaves 3 more lines of water. Now these 3 lines are going to be for the 14 pumps creating packaged water. I know. So in this case, we're creating packaged water in these 14. Now, it works out to be 14. We're using 3 full lines, which would do, of course, 15. But again, I'm not going to worry about the semantics of one line of one of these lines only doing 4 machines. Whoop-de-ding-do, right? Like, trust me, if those are the biggest problems in your life, I wish I had your life, because they're, you know, your life must be so much easier than mine. Because let me tell you, it's definitely not. It's not the life I have. Yeah, my life a whole lot trickier than that. So it is what it is, and I hope I have enough room here. We'll soon find out, I guess. Yeah, you just keep right on going there, big guy. Now, I have done this stacked, like the way I have it is stacked. But you could have run these in parallel, like along the side each other, like these ones, right? Like you could have run them 3 lines alongside each other, like these 2 lines here, and it would have been fine. You just got to give yourself, if that's the case, you do want to give yourself a little extra space. I would give myself 1 more extra square here, so when you lay them out all along the side of each other, you have like a little extra room. That it's just something to note. Let's see. Now, I know these will go together. I got to fight with them a little bit, but I know they will go together. Pretty sure. Okay. Yep. I know I have to stare at these ones kind of in the face. You have to stare at them in the face to get these ones to work. Because again, I am being a little cheap with the spacing here. Yep. Okay. So now this is where it actually gets a little trickier. So I want that one. Is it like right over? Is that thing like right over the thing? Is it really? Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Of course, running my power poles, I was being super efficient, put them right in front of the things, which was where I need these kind of to go. There we go, and that's going to be number 4, and then of course you guys need 4, so that's going to be 1, and 2, and 3. Okay, let's see how well we did anyway. And now I come in here and I go boop. Looks so far so good. Oh, see, yeah, you always gotta have a joker, right? You always gotta have 1 joker. All right, so let's get rid of this guy for a second. Yeah, always gotta have a joker guy. Always gotta have a joker guy. Come on now. There we go. Well, it's a little bit of a bend in it, but I'll take it. Yep. Yep. You're turning in. There you go. Sure. So again, like I said, you could space these out a little bit more to avoid this. But you know, I do like to try and be a little bit squeezy with my space sometimes. You want to be right there. You want to be right there. Come on, get in there. You gonna go in there for me? Sure you were. Sure you were. You liked it. Yeah, okay, there we go. Hey, look at that. We got them all done. So that is now all the water done. And of course, these ones are going to package water like crazy. Now, to package that water, of course, you need canisters. So let's run back up here for a second. On the ends, now I have this separated into 7 and 7. Some people will do all 14 and then loop them around, but I usually separate mine into 2 groups of 7, just so as you can use like slightly cheaper belts. I have canisters in these, and they are going to be waiting to go into those machines. And that, of course, is next episode, because next episode we're going to be putting all the belt work together for this, and that's crazy. All right, that is going to be the heavy oil residue and the water lines now hooked up. Finally, it is on to the fuel lines. All right, so coming out of these machines in the front here are going to be the fuel lines. Wonder why I did that. Why did I do that? Okay, yes, I know why I did that. We will explain shortly. Everything is fine. I was going to say, I didn't leave myself enough room. Yeah, that one's going to be a little crooked. That is fine. Okay, so the fuel is coming out of these machines, and it has to go into this line. I'm going to run down here for a second. Boop. Yep. Let's see. Yep. Okay, you can do that. You are the first 5 machines, right? Yes. Yes, you are. Yep. You get to do that. All right. You get to do that. So, just to kind of point this out a little bit, on the back half, okay, if we go back to them water lines for just a second, I want to point this out. On the water machines back here, these last 4, okay, so I did it in 5, 10, and then 4 for 14. But you'll notice on the other side here, I'm actually doing it, I didn't do it 5, 10, and 14. I did it in reverse. I made these ones 5, then 5, and then 4. And the reason is because it helps in the balance. Call it like a balance in the force thing, right? Because everything here is going to be off by a degree or 2. This kind of causes a little bit of balance to work out. You know, so there's 4 machines in the back. They're going to be getting plenty of water, right? And in this particular case, those 4 machines up the front are being split between their 5s. It's a little bit of mathmagery. I don't know. There's a word. There's probably a word for that. But by kind of splitting it around a little bit, you kind of even out any rough spots. Okay, and that's what's going on there. Now, here in the front, though, let's stick with the fuel team because that is what we are on now. The first 5 machines here are getting their own dedicated line. Groovy. The next 5 machines are getting put into a line. Now, again, the way this used to work, you know what? It's probably easier if I just kind of draw it down here and then let you look at it. Alright, so let's do a little bit of a magical thing. Do a magical thing here. And again, this is just important for lessons. Gotta have the lessons. Okay. So let's say you have your pipe coming along here, and alright, and now I'm gonna get rid of this. And now I will do a thing like this and a thing like that. Okay, so you have a pipe. Okay. If you split that pipe into 2, what would you expect to happen? Okay, well, let's just split it into 1. Okay, if you have 100% coming down this pipe, and you have 1 pipe coming off of this juncture, well, then 100% of the fluid's going to go down that 1 juncture and nothing down those 2. If you split your pipe into 2, well, then your 100% divided by 2 is 50%. So 50% would go down one side, and 50% would go down the other side. If you split this into 3, what would you expect 100% to do? Well, if this is 300 fluid, now it's 100 divided by 3, which is 33.3, or 33 a piece. So you would expect 33% there, 33% there, and 33% down the middle. Okay? And, of course, that is what is going on up here now. Except, instead of doing it that way, we're doing it with valves now. Okay? So what we used to do is we would take this second pipe from these 5 machines, and basically we would split it into 3. And then, to kind of do a little trickery with it, we need 2 of these 3 pipes to go to the same direction, and 1/3 of these pipes, so we actually need 66% to go one way, and 33% to go the other way. So, to do that, with this little build setup, let's just kind of slam something in here for a second. Yep, like this. So, what we would do is you would have 33%, 33%, and 33%, but we want 2 of these 3 to go in the same direction, so we would then join these 2 back up together, like this. and say, hey, guess what? Now 233s would make 66%, and now 2/3 of this pipe would now be going in the same direction. And this 1/3 would now be going off in wherever it's pretending to go, right? It's going somewhere. So that is how you could do a little bit of math trickery with a pipe. And then you would put pumps on each of these, right? So you would put a pump here and a pump here and a pump here. And then that way it would force these two pipes of 33 to become 66. And this last 33 would go off to do something else. We're now doing the same thing up here, except with valves. So basically, this line should have 300 fuel in it. Well, we want 200 of that 300 fuel to go down one line. So I have it set to 200. And I have 100 of this fuel set to go the other direction. So basically I'm getting 66% of that fuel to go one way and 33% of that fuel to go this way. Now, and that's what I'm doing here. It's the exact same kind of thing down there, except I'm just using two valves to do it instead. It just makes it a little cleaner, right? Because, having to split the pipe into three and then bring two of them back together, right? It takes up a little bit of extra room, whereas in this case, it's like, well, I'm just going to split the pipe into two and tell 2/3 of it to go this way and 1/3 of it to go that way. It's all I did. All right, let's swing this pipe around because that has got to go over there. And we'll just ignore that mess over there for a minute. Okay, so bringing that pipe over here, we're now bringing that pipe back down here. And that's what these 4 plus a trickle bit of that is doing with these machines. And so we're going to give these guys a little bit of fuel boost because that's what we do. We're really nice like that. Now, let's get our elbows all in here because we got to get the elbows in. There's one. There's one. And there's one. And there's one. And one for you, my friend. And one for you, of course. And one for you. And one for you. Now, again, these are going to turn that original plastic into rubber, right? Because, it's literally what we're doing. We're doubling. We're doubling. Right? If you're Canadian and you double, well then, holy smokes, it's pretty crazy. Tim Hortons fans are going to get the note on that. So in this case, we're going to take that 30 fuel and that 30 plastic, and we're going to turn that into 60 rubber. And then, of course, we're going to take that 60 rubber, and then we're going to double it up again. We want to keep going with these bends, though. So back to this. So this is where this one's going to get a little bit of a bendy out to come around on this, but we got to avoid coming out here too far because we had a lot of belt work going on, right? So we got belt work to take care of on that next episode. There is the join there, and that one there, and that one there. And this one's already going to get one, right? So there's them 4 machines. Let's now, well, you know what? I'll finish running these so I can just run all the way up and take care of that, I guess. Take care of all 14 of these guys. There we go. And then we need the ones over here for you guys. One for you. And one for you. Even one for you. And one for you. There we go. All right, let's get you hooked in. Excellent stuff. Okay, and then of course, now I will admit, valves are new in Update 4, right? Or I've never played with valves. So, I do not know if this split is going to work. Okay? Computers are funny things, right? In the background when they're doing all their calculations and things, and you're faking fluid dynamics and stuff. You never know if games and all that calculations are actually going to do it the real way it would work, or if it's going to do it some weird way that they've got programmed in the back to fake it. So it should work the way I've described it. Is it going to? I don't know. And I won't know until we turn them on, right? And yes, I can go through and I can reinstate the 3366% jiggy thing, right, to get jiggy with it here into that build. And that's fine. It's just, I'm hoping the valves work because it just makes it so much cleaner for the average person to be able to do this build. I mean, this is a big build already, all right? And like I said, for 5 computers and 5 supercomputers and 5 turbo motors, this is overkill by far. I mean, this thing is going to produce way more plastic and rubber than we need. You should be able to do 15 turbo motors. I think it would be 15 turbo motors and 15 supercomputers with the amount of, it would be close. You could do 10. It would be close with 15. I think you'd be kind of like short. I think you'd only like be able to do 13 and a half. But I mean, this is way overkill for 5. We're just pointing that out, right? Okay, so that is that line, and of course, that is that first fuel line. But now we have these other 2 lines, this one that's totally dedicated, and this one, of course, which we've taken 2/3 of it. We're going to run around this way. Where are they going? Beep, beep. Here we go. They, of course, are going to those guys. Those 18 up there. You betcha. Let's go get him. Yep. Zoom, zoom. Here we go. All right. Yeah. Are you going to make that? No, I didn't think so. Okay. Well, you know what? This is all right because you got to give me... I have to give myself a little bit of an exercise of doing something. Sure. Somewhere's around there, I'm thinking. I don't know why I use those. Yeah. Let's try that again. But let's just use the plain stuff. And since we have a power line like kind of right here, it'd be nice to do that right here. There we go. A 9. Now, if you'd be so kind as to do that for me. Switch to that. Are you guys going to behave yourselves? Are you going to look nice and clean for me? Yeah, that looks pretty good. By the way, if you're ever wondering how I figure that stuff out, I will show you. How do you know what the spacing is? Well, I've just gotten used to it over the years, but in this case, the spacing is 3. So if this is where your thing is, and then you want to make a turn into it, if you're turning to the right, then your next line would come out. You can, in fact, I usually put one down as a guide, and then I go 1, 2, 3. Right? Take out the guide. There you go. The spacing is good, right? If you were going to the left of that, of course, you'd put down the guide and go 1, 2, 3, and then put it down on the third one, and then you'd be good to go. That's how I get the spacing on these. And that, of course, creates this kind of spacing. Again, same deal. How do you get the turn spacing correct on that? It is exactly 1 space on either side of that, right? And in this case, because we're turning to the right, I took my guide from this side, from the 3, right? So this, again, right, would be 1, 2, 3, right? And then this is where my turn guide is. So just a little extra. Okay, let's get this piping done. We get this episode wrapped up. And then, of course, the next one will be all about the... getting that belting down and getting something turned on. All right, here we go. And get you down here. Now, once again, this is where a little bit of something's going on, a little something, but there's no joining of the pipes here. Because this first pipe has 5 full machines in it, it's going to the first 10 refineries here. Now, this second pipe only has 200 in it, so it only goes to the next 8 machines. And there's no having to merge the pipes or anything like that. Though you could, I guess, if there was any left in this pipe, you could actually do one of them straight across, and then hook this into it, and then put a valve on there in that direction just to make sure that the flow wasn't going backwards. But as far as I understand, it should be just a straight 10 and 8. We should be good to go. Again, we're going to see this in action, so it's not like it's going to be any mystery. If I have to make tweaks along the way, because, you know, this is like 2021 version, you know, this is the update 4 version, we may have to do that for sure. And we'll just run down here, get these all in. Yep, that's 5, 6. Did I get that wrong? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Really? Did I actually put that on the bend? Why would I do that? That's very weird of me. It's not something I would usually do. You know what? I am feeling a little frisky. We'll leave that one on the bend, just because it's different. I would usually make that all nice and pretty, like, and I just realized, yeah, that's kind of a weird thing I would do, but, oh, well, I mean, you know, I spent, you know, well, I mean, this whole thing in preparation for this is probably about, what, 10 plus hours? You know, getting 114, well, I mean, you're looking at probably close to 200 machines, right? Well, or 175 machines, and these are not easy machines to build, right? I mean, you need a lot of motors. I mean, there's a bucket load of motors you need, and rotors, and a whole lot of stuff that you need to make these. Now the supply base is doing just that. It made the supplies no problem. That being said, though, you know, you then have to put these down, line them all up, go through, set up all the formulas, blah, 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 right? In fact, let's check the formulas, and these, of course, are going to take that rubber that we just made over there and turn it into plastic along with the fuel. So those 9 machines and these 18 machines are doing the exact same thing with all this fuel. We're taking a little bit of rubber from the beginning, or we're taking a little bit of plastic from the beginning, turning it into rubber, and then turning that back into plastic. And each time we do it, we're doubling it. So we double, double, double. Boom. I know, it's pretty crazy. Double, double, double. Double, double all you're worth. Okay, here we go. Let's hook these suckers in. All right. Now, the only other thing, of course, about these is that they do take a while to warm up. Obviously, to get the fuel all made and get the rubber all started, these can take, well, I would say a good hour. You need to let this run constantly. Yep, constantly. See that one on the bend? That's throwing me off. These take about an hour. And in fact, you need a good couple hours of them running to really see a good difference in them. But you definitely need an hour kind of them up and running to get them all working, at least like to a satisfactory thing. I know, it's all funny. So that, wow, 40 minutes in. That is all the piping of the things. And yeah, that's what it is right there. And that's after I had already gone through and had done all the prep work of all the what are these crazy things? Yeah, all the supports and everything for that. It still takes us 40 minutes, pretty straight going, the entire time to get that all in exactly one whole day. Look at that, like the sun will be going out here soon, because that's what it does. And but we now have all the piping in for this factory. In fact, we should scoot on over to the other one and just have a look at it in its completed state before the end of the episode, before we end up closing the episode off. So, of course, I've already done all the electrical. All the electrical is all done. Again, just so as we didn't lose time on that little mission, because that's another hour, right? Well, let's say another 45 minutes, right? You lose a whole day running through, hooking up all the wiring. Let's go, car. Yeah, so here on this side, of course, next episode, what are we doing? All the belt work, and there is plenty of it. Oh, there is a lot of belt work to go. Oh yeah, that's for sure. Of course, these two sets of machines, this is going to stick out polymer resin, and then we need to scoop up that polymer resin and shove it into these and convert that into plastic or rubber. And this side, it's going to be, it's going to convert that into rubber. It's going to take that rubber, and it's going to then run down here. Meanwhile, you have all this belt work for the fuel, right? You have the bottle of water coming in there. You have the jugs of fuel coming out here, and then it all has to be recycled, right? But then, of course, over here, we have that rubber coming into these 9 machines, and it's like, wow, that's amazing. I know. And then, oops, yep, it's a little tight in here. Yeah, oh yeah, yep, you've jammed the car now, Max. Oh yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. No. Yes, okay. Okay. Yes, and then, of course, what do we got going on here? Well, then, of course, you've got to take all this crazy plastic, or rubber on the other side, and then we have to convert that into rubber or plastic. And, of course, that's what goes on over here, right? And then these belts come out. It gets converted again to double it up again. And then that has to come out the front of this, right? Like so, and do a thing. Now, in this particular case, you actually have to return some of this back. And that's what this little monstrosity thing going on here does. It is going to take this belt work, and it's going to give a little bit of this rubber or plastic, depending what side you're on, and it's going to give it back to these 9 machines, because the 100 that it's producing out of them original 5 is not enough, right? It's not enough to do the double. So it's kind of like double single, if that makes any sense. Yeah. Here in Canada, what can I tell you? It's just a thing. So yeah, we have to add a little more of our finished product back into the recycling side of things. So that is where some of that is going to come down here, and that's what's going on up here, is where it actually is going to borrow a little bit of our winnings and return it back into the system for recycling again and again and again. And that's what happens here. With that, I'm Max. The day is about to set. And, of course, once we have 2 finished lines of all kinds of the goodies coming out, we're going to have to, well, for the time being, we're going to have to sink most of it. We just don't need most of it. Hey, it's going to help with our ticketing. It's going to be awesome. This, of course, has been Satisfactory 4. Satisfactory Update 4. And, of course, we're going to get all that nice rubber and plastic, and then we're going to bring it all the way down here to our computers. Oh, yes. Computers are going to be happy. We like happy computers. We'll be in the circuit boards. Oh, boy, they're going to be happy, too. Everybody's going to be happy. It's going to be just a happy day. Happy. And, of course, we'll get that all down here. And then we'll be on to getting all the stuff ready for the aluminum. And let me tell you, that's some big builds too. I will see you on the next one. Take care.